All right, so here we are with Curt H. I got to do a quick, I guess I should close this here. All right, getting ready to go for a ride in a, what year is it?
2008 Signature 100 Tesla Roadster.
2008. Okay, Tesla Signature 100. All right, we're going to keep filming.
Now just roll it onto the speedometer and the tach. The tach itself is very interesting.
Oh yeah. I'm going to zoom here of the tach.
As a cover slide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And get the plaque that's between the seats. And in back, right around the back. There's a plaque.
Back here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes.
And the shifter. Forward, reverse.
Yeah, forward and reverse.
Drive, reverse, and neutral. Although,
Does it get any better than that?
although this did originally have a 2-speed manual transmission.
Is that right?
Yes, the torque of the motor was too much for it though.
So then you go to 1?
So what they did for a little while was they locked it into second.
Okay.
And then they took them all back, took out the transmission entirely, and put in a fixed speed gearbox, which is what all of them have going forward.
Interesting.
And that's when they changed the plate, so instead of having a 2-speed, it just has drive, reverse, and neutral.
Gross vehicle weight, 3,274 pounds. What's the plaque say, by the way?
Oh.
55 on it?
It says 55 of 100. It's got the signatures of everyone who built it. It's got the
That's way cool.
and it's got the name of the guy who originally owned it.
All right, so I'm with Curt H, longtime friend, longtime Sun employee, and Curt is going to tell me about this because I'm going to be blogging about this later today.
You got lots of legroom there if you wanted.
Okay.
You'd be surprised because since there's no fiery box of death in front, there's no need for a fire alarm.
Fiery box of death. So Kurt's not a Corvette guy yet. So.
and notice, even as low as it is, how much headroom you have.
Yes. And this pops off too, right?
Yeah, it comes off. I got a soft top, but during the winter, this is really necessary.
Is it?
Yeah. Because you know, my heat is all resistive.
Oh,
which does take a bit of a hit for mileage. Fortunately, I've got the heated seats, which is what I use for me.
Okay.
If Sherry's not in the car, I don't turn on the heat. I just use the heated seat. But since there's no waste heat from anything, you have to make heat, which means you lose some range in the winter.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, not hugely, but it does make a difference.
So 150 miles an hour and then 13 grand on the tach, huh?
Yep.
Very cool.
Okay, are you ready?
Ready.
It's on.
Oh, it's noisy. So it's like a diesel, for Christ's sake. Oh, yeah. If I'd shown back, we'd see the black fumes coming out of the battery here. So it literally is reverse neutral drive.
All right, it's only 35 here, but if you want to go someplace where we can
Sure.
do a
You
little
got
bit more,
time.
you know the area better, so just guide me along.
You know what? You probably know it as well as I do, quite honestly. So
I can only turn one way here, and it's only 35. But there's no law about how fast I get to the speed limit. Since there's nothing behind me, we'll start right here.
All right, so we're at 0.
Yeah, are you ready?
I'm ready, boss. Wow. Wow. Yes.
I stopped at 35.
Okay. Yeah, no, it was like someone came, right, the instant torque of electric motors where I felt like somebody hit me with a sledgehammer between my shoulder blades.
Yeah. When I was test driving one originally back in 2009 in California, they had a string of little accidents where people who had just got their Roadsters crashed them within 30 minutes.
Is that right?
Because they weren't used to the torque. So what they were doing for test drives was they would take us at the time over to Moffett.
Oh, really?
And say, get used to the car here on this big on this big asphalt, and then we'll go back out on the highway and you can drive. So we were driving over on the 101 midday on like a Wednesday.
Okay.
And I'm, the guy's driving me over there. Says, no, you'll be able to drive. I just want you to get used to it first. And we had hit a patch of clear traffic, and he turned to me and said, "Would you turn the radio up for me?" And as I reached for it, he floored it, and I could not reach the radio.
Is that right?
Yes. I was pretty much sold at that moment, except, then I realized that while there was great charging infrastructure around California at the time. Just didn't exist here. Of course, I hadn't really tumbled to the fact you don't need it for the most part.
Yes. So, were you saying that you already had in your garage a 240 volt? Like
I don't even have a garage. I just put a dryer plug out on the driveway.
Oh, so I was going to ask you about that. So, because I'm not sure, you know, like we have a triple car garage, so I have the 2 Corvettes, and then it's a shorter one because we got a refrigerator there. So, if I were to put that out on the end of a driveway for an electric car, what are the issues with that? Do you just buy one that's appropriate?
You buy one that's appropriate. It's the exact same thing they use in RV parks.
Okay.
So there are already outside boxes available for them.
Ah, okay. This is really nice. I'm impressed. Well, this has got to put a smile on your face every time you're in it.
Oh, it does. It does. Yeah, there's something that's known as the Tesla grin.
The Tesla grin. Yeah.
And you really ought to try the P85D, you know.
I took out the regular P85, yeah. But yeah, I'd love to take out the.
Go to Tyson's. Go to Tyson's to the new place they just opened up.
Okay.
And it's right on Route 7, and you probably have to make an appointment for a week or so in advance.
Okay. But
you can get a test drive in a P85D.
And I'll hit the insane mode and just go like a bat out of hell, right?
If they let you.
Yeah, so why don't you just talk a little bit about maintenance and how much it costs really to run one? Because I'm blogging about this. I'm going to put it on YouTube. So.
Well, my biggest expense is tires.
Really? That's number one expense?
Number one expense, by far. And, you know, it is sticky little wide sports car tires, and they're, you know, $600 for a pair, you know.
Oh, well, that's not bad. About $300 each?
$300 each.
Yeah.
And the rears wear out a lot faster than the fronts. I get about, if I'm not really showing off all the time.
It really is instant.
Yes. And I didn't floor it that time.
Oh, is that right?
Because we were turning. If I'm not showing off all the time, I get about 12,000 miles out of the set of rears.
Okay.
Not, you know, about that. I know guys who only get more like 7,000 or 8,000 because they're constantly taking off, you know, to show off. So, not much visibility in back.
But you got the side mirrors. I see you got the little helper mirrors there too.
So tires are the biggest thing. There's an annual service where they, you know, check the alignment and you know, do any TSBs, and if there's a firmware update, they do that. Of course, the new tires do the firmware updates over the air.
Literally over the air?
Literally over the air. Like overnight, you get an update, suddenly your car's better the next day.
Okay.
You know, when you wake up. You know, there's one reason that my whole under hood area is so clean is because it wipes off easily with a damp cloth. There's no oil or grease up there, so every time I wash the car, I just go over it with one of my towels that I've already used, and you know, it's ready for a car show.
Now, have you quantified like the electrical cost?
Oh yeah. So my most expensive month, and this is all I drive. You know,
okay.
I mean, I do have the hybrid SUV, which I take to the airport, and I use for teaching scuba.
Okay.
I have to, you know, if I have a lot of people or stuff to haul, I'll use it, but I have to have a really good reason to not drive this car. My most expensive month of electricity was $70.
Is that right?
Yes. In the SUV, I frequently had weeks that I spent more than that in gasoline in a single week. And that was in a hybrid.
I easily believe that. So 70 for a month.
70 for a month was my most expensive month ever. And, you know, in the winter, you know, when I'm not doing longer trips and things, it's 22, 25, something like that for the month. It's a quarter of what gasoline costs, easily.
And then when you get into the total cost of ownership, what do you think that percentage is?
Well, you know, the problem is, of course, this is a handmade limited edition sports car. So the initial price makes the TCO much, much higher.
Oh, yeah. I guess.
You know, there's nothing you can do about that. Now, you know,
and what was it initially? You said it was
109.
So 109,000, and then Now, was that fully loaded?
That was
or?
fully loaded because, well, for this it
one,
basically
yeah.
came in one package. You know, the Signature 100s were pretty much all the same.
Okay.
Later, they had some more options. You could get extra clear coat carbon fiber, you know, bits, you know, on the dash, and like the louvers in front could be bare carbon fiber. The spoiler could be bare carbon fiber. A few things like that.
Okay.
Actually, it's kind of interesting. When I've got the soft top on, it looks like a totally different car because the hard roof goes way back, so the lines change. But this roll bar right behind us here is covered in carbon fiber. So when I'm using the soft top or no top, you see the carbon fiber roll bar there, which is nice.
Now, did you say that they made 2,500?
2,500 total worldwide between 2008 and 2011.
Yeah, I was surprised. You're right, like you said, how much leg room and how much headroom there is.
Yeah, well, since there's no need for a firewall up there, there's a lot of leg room.
Yeah. So let's see. So they stopped making this, and then they had the P85D. I guess it's out there.
It's the newest one. That's the newest one with the dual motors.
And what? So what are they coming out next? A crossover? Is that?
There's
next?
a crossover coming out next year, probably. I mean, there might be a limited number of them available at the end of this year.
Okay.
But it's looking like next year. That will be on the same platform as the Model S, so we're still talking the same price.
Oh.
But the one after that, they're calling the Model E, and that will be a smaller four-door sedan, made to be very affordable. They're always saying that they're expecting the price on that to be $35,000 to $40,000.
Really?
Yes. And, you know, today, you know, this is going to change, but if you look at pure battery electric vehicles, so I can only go, we're going to go right back over the road we were on because I can't turn around here. But that's okay. We're talking.
There we go.
So, if you look at pure battery electrics today, most auto manufacturers have not gotten serious about electrics. So they're city cars, they're commuter cars. The manufacturers really don't want to sell them, but for compliance with CARB, you know, in California, they need to sell something.
So now, is that where it shows how much battery's left?
Yes, so you can see the battery there, and as a matter of fact, above it you see the little, it says 22 amps, and you've got a little bit of a bar graph that's coming off of it.
Uh-huh.
Now I'm not using the brakes here, I'm just taking my foot off. The bar graph goes the other way. That's how much is going back into the battery.
Is that regen?
On regen, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't touched the brakes yet.
Okay.
And in fact, since I did it for demonstration, I did it a little early. But
very cool.
Yeah, I only need to physically use the brakes for the very last bit of stopping. Once again, one of those maintenance things, you know, my original 2008 still had all of its original brake pads.
Really?
Yes, because you don't use the brakes very much.
Ah.
You know,
Okay.
they were telling me that next year I might need to replace the rear brake pads.
So would that have been the first maintenance besides tires?
Well,
or did you have some other maintenance?
That was, I had a stereo problem once, and last summer the windshield wiper arm broke, and you know they replaced it the next day for free. But you know, it's like just
that's
fell
pretty minor in the big picture.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
And you know there have been TSBs. So the annual service they charge $600 for. You go in once a year, and they jack it up and they clean everything. They take the top off the electronics tray and clean everything up, and they check the battery and do any updates that need to be done, any TSBs that need to be done, and that's it. It's just a fixed price.
Now, how about charging? You had mentioned that you like to go to the RV parks, but you can also go to different Tesla, right? Like, can you go to the supercharging station?
I can go there. I can't do anything with it.
It has a different connector or something?
It has a different connector. Also, it is, I mean, they hadn't even thought about those at the time the Roadster was being made. But the superchargers use 480 volt DC.
Oh, okay.
And what the Model S's have is a set of circuitry to bypass all of their internal chargers. Because when you talk about chargers, people think I'm about a little bit wrong. All cars have their own chargers in them. They have a connector that you connect to external voltage. And so by default they're AC, but the Model S and ongoing models have the ability to bypass their charger and hook up directly to high voltage DC, and that's what the superchargers are. And they will charge an empty Model S half full in about 20 minutes and completely full in less than an hour.
Is that right?
Yes. And they're conveniently located about 150 miles away from each other along major highways, so you can go from here to LA for free anytime you want.
It's hard
And
to
they're
beat.
building more and more of them all the time. I think there are about 400 supercharger stations now.
You know, I thought it was interesting that Elon Musk came out last year and said that they were opening all their patents up because that their competition is not the other electric cars, it's the fossil fuel cars.
Exactly.
And so they want to grow the electric car industry.
And that's the thing. He's not in this to make a lot of money. He's in it because he believes in the electric vehicle. And, you know, what I mentioned earlier, that other manufacturers just aren't serious about their electric cars. If you look today, electric vehicles that exist today have 40-mile range, 80-mile range. That's about it. There are no over 100-mile range electric vehicles out there today, except Teslas. And this one, the very first one, with the new battery, had almost 250 miles range.
Very impressive, Curt. Appreciate it.
I'm sure I've left out a lot of things here. It's sort of stream of consciousness.
Right.
But it's...
So where do you take the work to be done? Is it in Tyson's or?
No. The local Tesla service center that's been around almost from the beginning is in Rockville, Maryland.
Oh.
I could walk to it if I really had to on a good day. It's the, I think, second busiest Tesla service center in the country, and it's been serving over 5-6 states, but now they're just now opening up one in Tyson's, and that'll take a big load off of them.
Now, I've read recently too that states are finally getting wise and allowing Teslas to be sold. Like,
right.
Can you buy a Tesla in Texas now? Is that, or is Texas still a holdout?
I think Texas is still a holdout. Oddly enough, Maryland is still a holdout.
Really?
Maryland has a Tesla gallery, and you can go in and look at the cars, but they can't talk about price. However, if you're interested, they will then take you back and let you get on the web browser on their computer, where you go onto TeslaMotors.com and order your car. Because they're not dealerships. I mean, even the places where you can buy a Tesla is not a dealership, it's a showroom.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate it. This was fantastic. And this will be out there later today on my blog.
And if you have other questions, by all means,
I'll drop you a note.
yeah, let me know.
Thanks.
Interestingly, local, if the locals are interested in these sort of things, we have a very old and large electric vehicle association here in the DC area called EVADC, evadc.org.
Okay.
We've been around for over 30 years.
Wow.
And until really recently, those cars have almost all been conversion cars. I mean, we had some of the Ford Ranger EVs and things like that, but now it's gone the other way over the last 3 or 4 years to where almost every car in the club is a production car, because there are enough choices out there. But we have an electric Fiero that's been passed from member to member for over 20 years, and our immediate past president is driving an electric Porsche 914.
Oh, okay. That's great. Well, thank you. I'm going to turn it off here.